7. Barrett outside the switch. Doncic goes on. Oh, great stop! And then he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys are doing well, and today I'm going to be talking about the Kevin Porter Jr. trade. Big shout to Buzzer Beater for giving me this video idea. Of course, I knew the trade went down this whole time, like he didn't tell me, but I thought it would be a good video idea because it's not just Knicks content. Don't worry, like when there's Knicks news, I'm going to make sure that I report on it, and after a Knicks game or some game previews sometimes when I can put those out. But shout out to Buzzer Beater, always a great supporter of the channel, always suggesting new stuff for the channel. So thank you so much for the great amount of support. People like you are the reason I continue with this channel. But of course, Kevin Porter Jr. was traded or dealt to the Houston Rockets. Of course, there was a whole drama went down. But I'm going to be starting off like, I made a video on Kevin Porter Jr. I was like, should he come to the Knicks? I was asking a bunch of you guys. I was kind of 50-50 because he has the talent. He had the production from last season. V-Line really misused him, and then you really saw the change of his production and went up, having bigger staff, really played him throughout his strengths, working downhill. He's definitely a good isolation player. But entering the 2019 NBA draft, he was a guy that actually disappointed me when it came to college basketball. He was this 5-star recruit. He only averaged 9 points, so that was the reason why he did slip down to 30. He was taken for his potential by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm like, what a steal this is, because I was really high on this dude. He went through adversity as well when he was younger, and I want to also, before I get officially into the whole thing that broke down in the locker room, certain players or certain people, they mature at different ages. Everyone had a different upbringing, or everyone has a different upbringing. If it's from a certain neighborhood, that's good, or that neighborhood might be bad. We have players like RJ on this roster, guys like Kevin Knox that are wise beyond their years, and they're actually mature people, it seems like, at least, everything you hear, or just the draft process, the pre-draft process, and the interviews, they seem down to earth and humble. I'm not saying Kevin Porter Jr. isn't. I'm just giving an example. I just wanted to throw that out there because we know the whole situation that went down with Kevin Porter Jr. and Taurean Prince in the locker room. But yeah, I was really a big fan of Kevin Porter Jr. He went through adversity when he was younger, a beast in high school, went to USC. His production wasn't the highest, but you just saw what he's capable of, and I just really thought he was going to translate to the NBA level. Rookie year, he showed off his ability to pass the ball a little bit, but he's definitely this isolation type of scorer. He can shoot off the bounce, shoot off the dribble, hit a nice step back in his arsenal, really worked downhill, freak athlete, and he played so hard on the defense side of the basketball. Big reason I wanted this guy. Yes, you could say would have ruined kind of the mojo of the Knicks if he did go on to go to the New York Knicks. After his rookie season, he got in trouble off the court. I believe he got caught with a weapon, and he was arrested, and that's the reason I think that's the reason why he was missing games, due to personal reasons, and he just got in trouble off the court for sure. You don't you don't like to see that type of stuff, because I'm like, what a talented player. I hate seeing talented players get in trouble. Everyone makes mistakes, though. At the end of the day, we're all human. It's just you happen to get caught. It's just a terrible situation that went down with Kevin Porter Jr. of the Cleveland Cavaliers at the time. And then, of course, the trade goes down. He's not playing. He hasn't played in a game yet due to personal reasons this season. A trade goes down. The whole James Harden trade happens. Taurean Prince, Jarrett Allen head to Cleveland. And a part of the deal, of course, the Brooklyn Nets losing some big-time pieces there. But, of course, you're going to have to give up those types of assets for a guy like James Harden if you're really trying to get or make a run for an NBA championship, really adding that star power. And Taurean Prince actually got Kevin Porter Jr.'s locker. And I was when I was thinking of the situation when the report came out, I was he got his locker. So I wonder if the Cleveland Cavaliers organization told Kevin Porter Jr. that your locker will be replaced. Because I get Kevin Porter Jr.'s frustrations if they didn't let him know. But why'd they change his locker in general? That's the main thing. This was before the whole suspending thing went down. They didn't change his locker because he was going to be suspended. It was just because of Taurean Prince. So I was really confused when it came to that. I don't know if it's because he's been in the NBA longer. It's only Kevin Porter Jr.'s second year, so he doesn't get what he wants. But that was just a mess of a situation. Taurean Prince took his locker. Kevin Porter Jr., apparently, what the report said, threw food at him, and that's unacceptable at the end of the day. You could say he was really angry in his emotions, but that's unacceptable. That's not good leadership. That's not being a good teammate. It's definitely not the way of, welcoming a brand new teammate into the organization of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So that went down just all that, the troubles off the court, then this situation just happened. It wasn't good whatsoever. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course, had to move on. The reports that were like they're going to waive him if they can't find a trade partner. They did find a trade partner, and that was the Houston Rockets. Again, I like this dude. I want to see him be successful. He just has to stay out of his own way. We do have to keep in mind he's young, and everyone matures at different ages. Like, you have to keep in mind this man is human. He probably got caught up in his emotions, but at the end of the day, you don't throw food at someone because your locker got replaced. But I really wonder if the Cavs organization told him that. Now, getting into the trade that happened last night, the Houston Rockets, Cleveland Cavaliers agreed on a deal. As the Cavs, they got a second-round pick in exchange, and Kevin Porter Jr. headed his way to Houston. And I'm gonna say this right now. There's of course, I believe he's still suspended or he's missing games due to personal reasons. I'm not sure when he's coming back, and that whole situation of what's going on with the weapon or whatever else he got in trouble with off the court. I believe it was something else, but I'm not gonna assume that or whatever. But just of course, there was this Instagram post before that he was really sad, then he deleted his account. But I'm not gonna diagnose him with depression, because you never do that. It's really messed up. You don't diagnose someone with anything if you don't know anything, and you just don't say it in the open. But it looked like he was going through some stuff. But I hope Kevin Porter Jr. is all right and everything like that. But yeah, he's heading his way to Houston. Second round pick the Cavs got in exchange, and we all knew his trade value was going to be low because it looked like he wasn't a good leader. He was getting in trouble off the court. There was no production this season. He threw food at Taurean Prince, and he didn't put up crazy numbers. He averaged 10 points per game, and his efficiency got better. Shot 44% from the field, which was way better. It really improved throughout the season, shooting from downtown, getting to the rack, playing hard defense. But can you guys just imagine if Kevin Porter Jr. matures himself and he ends up being a very quality or good NBA player, that the Cavs only got a second round pick in exchange? Because no one is gonna you weren't gonna get a lot for him because of the the recency that just went on. You always have to keep in mind what happened, what has happened with this player recently. Has he been playing good? No, he hasn't been on the court. Is he there mentally when it comes to being a good teammate or just doing good or bad things? No, he has not. But Kevin Porter Jr., if he brings production to the Houston Rockets, that's unbelievable, with guys like Victor Oladipo over there, Christian Wood, even a guy like freaking Tate has been balling out for them. But let me know down below your thoughts. Who do you think won this trade? In my opinion, we can't say because we haven't seen Kevin Porter Jr. play in a Houston Rockets uniform. But at the end of the day, second round picks, they don't always result in NBA players. They could just go to the G League or be out of the league in no time. But Kevin Porter Jr., I hope everything's all right with him and he's able to recover and become a great NBA player, or a good NBA player, or even quality player, or just see him back on the court. But thank you guys so much for the great amount of support. You guys are absolutely amazing. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.